nobody can prepare you for what's not working. You have to figure it out. And that's like on-set rewrites were happening all the time, you know? And in this scenario, like, it's the first season, right? So you're just learning how to ride this bike. And you start landing a few tricks, you're like, cool. But once you finish the first season and you figure it out, you're like, oh. And then you start like, man, I can't. That's why I'm so excited about season 2. There's so many tricks I'm about to land. Like, it's gonna be a whole different situation. What my mentor taught me is, like, when you first start out, imagine there's a brick wall in front of you and you're pretending to be a version of yourself. And then eventually over time, the more reps you have on stage, a little piece of brick keeps disappearing. And eventually there's no wall and you're just able to be yourself. The thing about being a great stand-up is about being able to, where it all looks improvised. Even your material that you've worked on forever looks like it's completely just off the cuff. So I was performing for Letterman, and I just like smashed it, and I walked to my manager, was like, hey, did Letterman like it? He was like, he laughed like that.
He's a tough audience.
He laughed, and then all the locals from Ohio, he walked up, was like, bro, Letterman was hunched over laughing, he loved you so much. I looked at my manager, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I didn't want your head to be too big. I was like, your head too big? This is the time to tell me the truth. And then I was so mad. I was like, what's wrong with you? And then Letterman walks in, and he hugs Dave, and he's like, Mo! And he's just giving me so much love from the stage, and he keeps saying Mo over and over again. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then we connected and had like an hour-long conversation over the phone, and it was just like one of the best moments of my life. Seeing how energized people are, from not just Latinos, not just Arabs, but even people who didn't have any understanding of what the immigration asylee process is, and we try to do it in such a grounded, real way that they thought like, oh, you get here, you're an immigrant, you get American citizenship the next day. Well, the reality is that it takes a tremendous amount of time, and you actually earn that citizenship, and you don't take it for granted. You actually, when you get it, you feel like you earn something and you know what it truly means, versus when you're born into it and you neglect how privileged you actually are. So all those things are just like a really difficult balance in such a complex subject matter. And honestly, just to do it in 2 seasons now is completely unfair, and it's so hard. My attorney, who was my immigration attorney, he consulted on the show, and he came on. We're writing the show, right, season 2 right now, and they, you know, without me saying anything, all the writers were like, "How was the representation of it, you know, of the show of immigration and asylee court in particular on the show?" He says, by far, the most realistic thing that I've ever seen on television, you know? Yeah. And that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Again, my question is, how do you respond to that pushback that you get in a way that, you know, oh, you're that angry minority, that's why you're responding that way?
I never was an angry minority. I mean, like, I try to hold whatever, like shifting, like that's why I said, like, I don't want to have hate in my heart. I want to have love in my heart. That's like, you got to filter like the things that upset you in a way that's really constructive, not destructive. Because you can get mad at things, but what's your response to it is everything. Usually, like, whenever you're angry or caught up in your own feelings, you don't really articulate yourself well, or you don't do things at the level you want to. So you scream into a pillow and you keep it moving. You have to like constantly have your vision in mind, and protecting that vision is number one. Beyond your own feelings. You have to live by almost like, fuck your feelings. This is not about you. It's about like achieving the thing, and it's just a matter of time before it gets there. It is very difficult to get over those things. It's not, you're never really over them. Like, you know, when people try to ban certain speech, which I get why they're proposing banning really hateful speech, but we need more positive speech over it. You know, like, you shouldn't take away something, because that's a scary thing. You start taking away, well, who makes the decision what not to do this, what not to do that? It's about influencing culture in a very positive way, is what I'm trying to say. Your contributions to what you do is going to offset whatever thing that bothers you that's out there. And most of the time, those things are done out of ignorance, not because of malice. Like, if I did that with my neighbors in the South, we wouldn't be friends. They just never met anybody like me. We can disagree on how we believe and how we want to live, but if we can have compassion towards one another, well, we've made a real difference there.